Hi everyone and welcome back to Googie's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name is Alexis and I post 2 videos a week on a Tuesday and a Thursday at 7 AM. So if you love recipe videos like this one and you want to see more, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And now I'm going to share with you how to make my delicious ginger flapjack. As I just mentioned, today I want to share with you how to make my delicious ginger flapjack. Now this recipe is really easy to do, and my husband and son love a flapjack, so I know this is a brilliant sweet treat for them. At the moment we have nothing sweet to eat in the house, so I thought I would make this as a little treat for them today. And of course, while I was making it, I thought I'd share the recipe with you. So here is how to make my delicious ginger flapjacks. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to preheat my oven to 180 degrees. For this recipe I'm going to be using stemmed ginger, but I'm going to be using stemmed ginger that I'm actually going to make myself. So what I've got here is a saucepan, and into this saucepan I'm going to add about 6 tablespoons of honey. I'll just get another spoon in a sec to get that off. Our honey has become quite crystallised. It has been in the cupboard a little while, but that's fine. So as I said, I'm going to be adding 6 to 8 tablespoons. I think I'm probably going to do about 6 tablespoons of honey. And then to the honey I'm going to add some ginger, and I'm also going to add some water, and I'm just going to let that cook down for a while. And this will hopefully crystallise, will make the stem ginger, which we will then put into the flapjacks. So these are going to be very gingery flapjacks, I have to say, but they are super delicious as well. So if you love ginger, then this is definitely the recipe for you. I think that's enough honey for the moment. So now I'm going to add about 4 tablespoons of water to this as well. And then I'm going to add in my ginger. So what I've done here is I have peeled the ginger just with a vegetable peeler, and then I just chopped it into, like, I suppose, 1/2 centimetre pieces. And I'm going to add that in as well. And I'm going to let this come to the boil now. Oh, I can smell the honey, it smells so good. So I'm going to let this come to the boil, and then I'm going to turn it down and leave it to simmer and let it cook away while I'm dealing with my dry ingredients and the wet ingredients for the flapjack as well. So I'm going to bring that to the boil. But I'm also using a local honey. You don't have to use a local honey, but I much prefer it, and it's much better for the environment as well to use local honey. The stuff that we get in the supermarkets, in the UK at least, can be shipped in from all around the world, and it's also not that great for the body when it's shipped in from all around the world. Local honey is so much better for you. So if you are going to buy honey, I would suggest you try and buy a local one. We bought this at a country shop somewhere, and yeah, we really like this one, and we're going to see if we can try and get it again. Local honey is a lot more expensive than the stuff you buy in the shops, but as I said, it is a lot better for the body, and as long as you don't eat it too often, it will last you a while as well. So yes, as I said, this is coming to the boil now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the heat down, and I'm going to leave this to simmer while I deal with my dry ingredients. While the ginger is cooking in the honey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my dry ingredients together, as I said earlier in this video. So in this bowl here I have about 300 grams of oats. These are gluten-free oats. I have a slight gluten intolerance, so I always have to use gluten-free oats. And then in this bowl here I have 50 grams of chia seeds, 50 grams of pumpkin seeds, and 50 grams of flax seeds. And I'm going to add that in as well. And then I'm just going to mix those ingredients together like so. And then In this bowl here, I have about 150 grams of coconut sugar. Now, if you don't have coconut sugar, you can always use brown sugar. You don't have to use coconut sugar at all. I use coconut sugar because it generally tends to hold its nutrition much better than any other sugar when it's cooked. If I'm just using sugar like on pancakes, I would probably have honey or maple syrup. But I try to always use coconut sugar because it holds a lot of its nutrition when it's cooked. So I always try to use it in biscuits and cakes and flapjacks and things because of that reason. So yes, it's definitely a great sugar, I think. Shouldn't have too much of it because it's still a sugar, but a little bit every so often doesn't hurt, does it? So yes, and now I'm going to add a tablespoon of ground ginger. Now my husband loves ginger, so he will be very pleased that I put a whole tablespoon in. If you don't like that much ginger, you don't have to add that much ginger. You can judge it as, you can put as much or as little in as you like. So yes. Just going to mix that in. I'm also going to mix in some ground cinnamon as well. Now I only need about a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. I'm just going to add a little bit more. And cinnamon just gives it that little bit of sweetness, extra sweetness. So I'm going to mix those together. And I think my ginger is done now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the hob and I'm going to deal with the ginger and my wet ingredients as well. Stem ginger has cooked, so as you can see here, it's gone a slightly golden brown colour. So I'm going to remove this from the heat. I'm going to leave it to cool for a little while. Now I know I'm using honey in this, and I just said I normally use coconut sugar, but honey is actually the best thing that works with stem ginger, especially for this recipe as well. The thing when you cook honey, it turns more to sugar, which affects the liver a little bit more. But for this recipe I needed to do it, so every so often I do cook with honey or maple syrup, but normally I do just try to cook with coconut sugar. So I'm going to remove this from the heat now, and I'm going to start to deal with my wet ingredients. So for the wet ingredients, I have about 150 grams of butter that I'm just going to put into this saucepan, and I'm going to add maple syrup to this as well. Now I know I said I don't cook with maple syrup as well, but occasionally maple syrup makes a really good sugar to cook with. So I'm just going to add about 50 grams of that to the butter, and I'm going to let these melt down now. So I'm just going to let them melt down in the pan, and then I'll add all the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients together. Butter and maple syrup have been melted together, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this over the oat mixture like so, and I'm just going to mix those ingredients together until they become really sticky. And I'm also going to add in my honey and ginger at this point as well. And I'm just going to mix all of these ingredients together now. So I'm just going to continue to mix these ingredients. The dry ingredients have all been covered in the wet ingredients, so I'm just going to set that aside for a few minutes, and I'm going to pre-line a baking tray. So I've already cut my greaseproof paper, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to oil the base and the sides of the tray. So I've just got some sunflower oil, and I'm going to oil around the base with my plastic brush and the sides as well. And then I'm going to put one piece of baking paper in here. I was about to say baking powder then. Baking paper in, and I'm also going to add a little bit more oil to the base of the pan. And I'm going to spread that around as well, around the sides where the baking paper is, and the base as well. And then I'm going to add the final piece like so. So I just simply cut 2 pieces of baking paper, one lengthways and one widthways, and then I'm just going to add oil to this piece as well. I know that it's greaseproof paper, but I do find that if I don't oil the tin, the flapjack generally tends to stick. So I always try to remember to oil the sides and the base of the greaseproof paper, and it also holds the greaseproof paper in place a bit better as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold these down so you can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to add in my flapjack mixture like so, and then once this has all gone in, I'm going to flatten it in the tray, and I'm going to put this into the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. Oh, if I don't knock the oil over, or until it goes a golden brown colour. So yeah, as I said, I'm just going to flatten this before I put it in, so it's all nice and even and everything is spread to the corners as well. So you can try and spread everything to the corners, you'll get an even bake then. Is that what they say on Bake Off? An even bake. I don't know what that's meant to mean actually. I don't know whether that's meant to mean spreading everything to the corners, but anyway, I'm off to put my flapjack into the oven now. The ginger flapjack is cooked and it's a lovely golden brown colour, so I'm going to take this out of the oven and I'm going to leave it to cool completely. As I said earlier, I left the flapjack until it's completely cool, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to cut the flapjack into squares. So I always like to start in the middle and just cut down. This is beautiful as well. I can feel it's so solid in the middle here as well. I'm not surprised with all the sugar in it, but yes, that is the flapjack on the inside. So I'm just going to continue to keep cutting it into squares, and it does smell really good as well. I am really impressed with the smell of this. So yes, it's quite a crunchy flapjack, but it is really tasty, especially with the ginger in as well. The sweet and spicy really go well together as well, I think. So yeah, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try a little piece at the end of one of these. Where can I do that? Well, I'm going to take out a bit from here. I'm just going to give that a little try. That's really nice. I've just got a big bit of ginger there as well. That's delicious. Yes, so that is my ginger flapjack cooked. That's how you make my delicious ginger flapjack, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. I'm off to enjoy one of these with a nice cup of tea now. So for now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.